Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to a very, very special episode of the MitsuTimes podcast. This is our 200th episode celebration. And yes, I'm going to have some fun with my studio sound effects here. This is something that's not just huge for the website, but to me, it's huge for the community. We've talked about so many different cars, so many types of motorsports, drag racing, circuit racing, rally racing, autocross, and everything in between. It's been such an honor since 2018 to be the host, the custodian, if you will, of MitsuTimes and keeping it all together and running. But before we get started, I want to say that none of this, absolutely none of this, would be possible without the sponsors of this website. You see their names, their logos on the homepage, and on each list, the price that they pay to sponsor those lists and to be on the homepage, all of it goes back to running the website, all the running costs. So hosting the page, the email accounts, the form that we use to collect the data, even the spreadsheet tables that we use, they're hosted by a third party so that we don't have to keep all the server stuff in-house. We pay for that. And I obviously couldn't take on all those expenses myself. We would have already closed shop by now. So thank you to all those people, all the great companies that not only keep the website alive, but keep this community alive. For in the most part, still making parts for all these old cars, still giving us motivation to keep going and to do the things, and we couldn't do it without them. Now, this episode will have a lot of parts. It may be a long one, so stick around for each one. Earlier in the week, beginning of late last week, I sent out a flyer for you to send in questions, and we'll go over those. I'm also going to announce a new podcast series that's coming up. And I'll talk about some things that we started recently and we plan to keep going. And lastly, I'll announce the much anticipated 2025 MitsuTimes Hall of Fame inductees. The committee has gotten together, chosen the names, and we've narrowed it down. We've done our vote and we've got our inductees, and I'm ready to announce them right here on this podcast. However, to start us off for this episode, like I was saying, I put out a flyer and asked people to send in questions that I could ask other drivers and questions for me. We got several, more than I expected, honestly. But first, I want to thank everyone who took the time to submit those questions. I think this is going to be a fun episode because of it. If no one submitted questions, I'm not even sure that I would want to even do this episode. So this one's going to be a little bit different than our normal one-on-one interview questions. Let's get right into it. The first part we're going to do is the Ask MitsuTimes part of these questions. The first one is, when will we get another 3G on the list? It's a great question. I've felt like I've done my best to motivate and to show that the 3G platform is capable and that people are out there racing them in different forms of motorsports. I've been trying to get the people that have the 3Gs already to go out to the racetrack and at least, get a starting point time slip or, see if their bolt-ons have gained them anything. I'd really like to see that list grow, and it's kind of disappointing where it is now. It's kind of stagnant, and we just signed on a new sponsor for 3 years, so I really hope that we can motivate some people and really make that list grow. Next question. With the return of Nopi, have I given any thought about a possible collaboration with Petunia Racing to grow awareness for the Mitsu community? Even though it's a Honda-heavy race series, the rule sets are very much aligned with classes from the shootout, from index racing, and even heavy hitter class racing. A majority of DSMs should fit in somewhere. Yeah, I think that for sure we've already seen what Kevin Collins, Tony Marks, Tony Niemczyk, and I want to say maybe Mike Wohler out there at these events. I definitely need to reach out to them and have them on and talk about this event. It's great to see Nopi back around, legendary series. And one of my goals is definitely to sprinkle in some episodes about upcoming events in the future. It seems like they're drawing quite a crowd, and they have some very attractive payouts. So, I need to definitely need to get those guys on. You're right. Next question is, what future trends do I see within the Mitsubishi community and the car community as a whole? Seems like drag and drive events are super hot right now. Yeah, I definitely agree. Drag and drive events do seem to be super popular. So is no prep racing. Seems like that's been pretty popular. I think that people are finding that the DSM platforms and the Evo platform is certainly capable of doing these types of racing. Um, I think we'll see in the future more of that happening as some of the bigger names are out there making waves and showing that you know they're out there doing these events like the back of the track stuff we've seen with Richard Blyer, Justin Laurent, and Ryan Vamos. He's obviously out there making big waves at no prep stuff all around Kentucky, Ohio area. They're definitely out there kicking ass and representing us all very well. So my hats off to those guys, and I hope to see more people get into that stuff and keep representing us. Next question. This must be from somebody who knows me pretty well. Wild Evo versus Red Demon. Who am I picking? All right. So these are two of my favorite cars, two of my favorite people behind the wheel of these cars. And to be honest, it kind of depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Right now, I'm going to say Red Demon because, he is a little bit quicker. He is a little bit faster. It seems like he's, getting the car to where it's staying together. And, he's obviously a master at his craft, been doing it for longer than most of us have been alive. So I'm going to go Red Demon for the moment. I hope that maybe one day we can see them line up again because it's always a great time to see them two at the starting line. Devin and Nick, when they're behind the wheel, they're giving it 120%. You can believe that, and I love to see them at big events like World Cup, representing us all very well. All right, next question. Of all the builds that I have interviewed, which one has been the most unexpected? One that we just did last week is about a Galant VR4 that does rally racing. The team is based out of Colorado. It's called Mad Cheshire Racing. It's a 67.2 naturally aspirated all-wheel drive Galant VR4. You may have seen it on DSM tuners. So the 67.2 is in there because they need to be NA to fit into their class, and an NA 4G63 is just not going to cut it. The other guys in their classes, they said, are running the Subaru flat sixes and other various V6s, and they're doing that because they need the torque that NA 4G63 just cannot provide, or a 4G64. So, just I didn't know that going into this podcast interview, and when they brought up the 67.2, I was kind of taken aback, like, "Whoa, hang on." I just did not see that coming at all. That's super cool. I didn't even know that stuff like that was being done out there. So another one that comes to mind is Albert Rosinski when he was talking about how his car during his podcast episode is still on a cast block and a stock crank with the times that he's running. That really blew my mind. I mean, I guess I just assumed it was a billet block and all that stuff, but he's so close to the top of our list. It's insane. And now that he's kind of doing his own billet stuff, I mean, obviously he's been doing his own build stuff for a while, but now he's doing build block and everything that goes with it. I definitely can't wait to see what that car does next. All right, next question. What are my thoughts on if Mitsubishi can bring back cars that enthusiasts and modders want to buy? Uh, I mean, obviously bringing back the Evo or bringing back some kind of performance platform would be great. I would love to see Mitsubishi make its return to glory. I'm kind of sick of seeing the SUVs and the Mirage at this point in all the dealerships. I just don't think it's going to happen. The dealership close to me, all three of them have closed down now. So I live in somewhat of a large city, and now you have to drive out of town to even go look at a Mitsubishi. So, it's no secret that Nissan owns a majority stake of Mitsubishi, and I just don't think that they want to see the competition against their Z car or R36 GTR or anything like that. So, I think it would be silly for them to push Mitsubishi, to allow Mitsubishi to make a performance car at this time. Next question. What are my thoughts on the latest offerings in the Rally Art trims without a turbo? Uh, I've seen the Mirage and the Outlander with the Rally Art mud flaps and Rally Art written down the side. I think it had a badge on the back that said Rally Art. It's just that stuff's just not for me, to be honest. The Rally Art brand obviously means a lot. Used to seeing it on Pajeros, Monteros going across Dakar, cross country rallies, all that kind of stuff, and to see it on just a boring everyday road going car is kind of sickening. Uh, it's just stickers and colors and just kind of distractions from the fact that the car underneath is kind of boring. In the early 2000s, the when I grew up around cars, we would call that stuff rice. But I don't. I think that became a derogatory term sometime in the 2020s. Next question: what Mitsubishi platform do you think is seriously underrated right now? Hmm, that's a tough call. I definitely think that the Evo 10 is just not getting the love that it deserves. One of the episodes that's going to come out this week is with Rafe from RRT. He's obviously proven that the platform is very capable, and English Grade A Garage. Those guys have all proved that it's very capable. I think and I hope now that the cars are getting cheaper, the parts are getting cheaper, and obviously the recipe is known there now that these cars can be seriously quick. That maybe more people will give it a shot and try it out. So hopefully, in the very near future, they won't be as underrated. Next question: if I could bring back one discontinued Mitsubishi model exactly as it was, what would it be and why? I mean, it's kind of an easy one. I'm a big 2G DSM guy. To me, it's the greatest car of all time. I don't care. It's not the fastest, not the whatever. To me, it's the coolest. So it'd be hard for me to go any other way. The Eclipse GSX for me is as good as it gets. I have one 20 feet from me that I love and cherish dearly. I definitely think that for me, that's the peak of cars. I've never been drawn to Evos. I guess I'm just not much of a four door person. If it has four doors, I'd rather it just be comfortable and not a race car, I guess. So I would keep it exactly how it was: turbo, four cylinder, all wheel drive, same trims, all the same options. It was already perfect. Don't mess with perfection. Next question is: what platform do you think is the future budget hero of the Mitsubishi community? Mm, that's a tough one. I guess I still think that I mean Evos certainly aren't going to get cheap anytime soon. DSM prices are going up, and they're becoming harder and harder to find, especially one in a good state is getting harder and harder. Uh, well, that probably also goes for the Evos at this point. The 3000 GT, I mean, twin turbo, two of everything, double the amount of stuff you got to buy. I don't think that's going to be the budget hero anytime soon. Certainly hasn't yet, and the car's been discontinued for 20 years. I don't know, maybe something like the Mighty Max or Conquest, something rear wheel drive where you can do a swap and you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into the chassis with a lot of money. So, yeah, I think that with the right motivation and the right swap, you can make that into a nice road racer, drag racer, whatever you want to do. At my track locally, they have a rallycross series, and they allow mini trucks. And I definitely think that a Mighty Max would be a great platform for that. So yeah, I think the Mighty Max or Conquest is going to have to be my pick. They're underloved, certainly, and most of them can be had for several hundred or up to $1,000. Uh, and 4G630 goes in relatively easily. Next question is, what current build on the MitsuTimes list do I think has the best chance of shocking everyone this season? I mean, definitely Camden Herring, 4G630 Avenger, rear wheel drive, one of my favorite cars. Got to talk to him recently. I just published episode with him and I 2 weeks ago, maybe. It's very bright green. The car is definitely a monster, and it has some very fast parts. He's in the know with Albert and some of the other really fast guys, but he does a lot of no time stuff and a lot of eighth mile stuff. So I think once he starts doing some stuff that isn't no time, and he's allowed to share his times, and he'll get up there. He wants to do some 275 radial tire stuff. Go for that record, and that car is just going to jump up our list, leaps and bounds towards the top. Next question. Are we entering the golden era of Mitsubishi drag racing as records are beginning to be broken, or are we past the peak? I don't know. I guess this one's subjective because for me, peak Mitsubishi drag racing era is early 2000s. Brent Rao, Dave Busher, Brad Gary, and his white. Back when the car was white. Um, you know, even though we were setting records back then, those records have been since broken, and I don't know, so much R&D and innovation that people were putting into those cars back then. I guess that's peak for me, and I know we're a lot quicker now, and this could be considered heading towards the peak, but I'm going to stick with the early 2000s just because that's what I like. Next question is, what's my favorite underdog story that I've covered on the podcast? I'm going to have to go with Matt Wheatley's Slap Chop Colt. I mean, obviously, the guy is incredibly smart. If you've ever had the honor to speak with him, and the fact that he's done this to this Colt all by himself and to make a jump straight into Quick 32, I think it's seriously cool and says a lot about Matt as a person. So I know this car has given him some troubles, and I think he's posted not so recently about maybe parting it out or going a different direction or not having the time for it. And I hope that he does stick with the car. because it's incredible if you haven't seen it in person. It's certainly an underdog story, and yeah, I can't wait to see what the car does in the future, either in Matt's hands or in someone else's. I mean, Matt already ran a high 8 with it, and that's fighting issues. So, yeah, the car's got potential. Next question is, what is the wildest piece of Mitsubishi racing history you've learned since starting the podcast? Hmm. All right. So, if you don't know Dave Wolin and the Archer brothers, they used to race like around the U.S. back when Mitsubishi factory team would race their cars, mostly 1Gs, some Mighty Maxes here and there. Um, I think even a Conquest thrown in. What those guys were doing is super cool. I've talked to Dave on the phone. I want to get him on the podcast at some point in time in the near future. We just haven't been able to sync up our schedules. But you got to do some Googling about these cars. It's super cool. They even race like Pikes Peak. We're in kind of like a old school Craftsman Truck Series kind of thing, but with a Mighty Max. I mean, super cool stuff. And the backing of Mitsubishi definitely was cool. I wish they still did stuff like that, obviously. Um, yeah, yeah. And Dave wrote a book called Mitsubishi Racing North America. You have to check it out. I mean, just reading through the experience that this guy has racing these cars. I love it. And I'm going to get him on the podcast soon, and we'll share some of his stories. Yeah. Guy is, he's a, just a wealth of knowledge. Next question is, what's a car or a build that you thought would never work, but absolutely proved you wrong? Well, I think there's only one answer to this. It has to be Adam Austin's 4B11 Miata. Uh, the thing is nuts. I got to see it as it was being built in different stages up in Cincinnati, and I feel like the more I saw it, the more I thought, just no way this car is ever going to work the way that they think it's going to, or hope that it's going to. I mean, the engine is in there kind of awkward. It's, it just looks, when you pop the hood, it looks so out of place, but then it also looks like it could come from the factory. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's in there smoothly, but it looks out of place. And they had this like wide body thing on it, big old rear spoiler, and I just thought, wow, this is just weird. And they proved me wrong. The car's a beast in the quarter mile and autocross, circuit racing. I mean, the car could probably do it all. Glenn, Adam, Ryan, hats off to those guys because that car is on a mission. And Adam's not done with it yet. It just did a transmission swap, and it's got more in it. All right. Someone asked if I had an unlimited budget, what Mitsubishi build would I build personally? That's an easy one for me. It is my beloved 2G. Um, just the way it sits right now, I think it's perfect. It's kind of in the stock appearing rule set, which I love that class. Not very competitive in it. I could do a lot to kind of tear it apart. The car only has 85,000 miles. The interior is perfect. It's just I like it the way it is. I mean, I guess if I had an unlimited budget, I would clean it up. It's taken some bumps and bruises, some scrapes over the years. I'd like to do tubular manifold or tubular subframes, just kind of clean up everything underneath. But it's as close to a perfect as I could possibly want. Next question is, which MitsuTimes episode surprised you the most after it aired? Well, that has to be the episode 51 that I did with Desmond Pierre. Let me check. Yeah, episode 51. All right, so I did an episode with Devin Schultz, episode 24, and that had the most views. I mean, it skyrocketed right up as soon as it came out. Whatever was second place at the time, this doubled it and then some. So I did this episode with Desmond. I posted it, and it was a sponsor run podcast, and I guess I just kind of thought like, do people really want to know about hear us talk about dinos and this event that Desmond had just posted and that we had the opportunity to go down and be a part of. But to my surprise, people loved it, and to this day, let me check. That episode has over 8,000 views, and second place, Devin, has 6,200 views. So yeah, still number one, and I certainly would not have called it. But Desmond is a well of knowledge. I mean, the guy knows anything and everything there is to know about tuning and ECUs and everything that goes with it. Dyno tuning, remote tuning, travels all over the world to do all kinds of tuning. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. All right, next question. Someone asked, would a Mitsubishi EV be allowed on the list? I mean, sure. I don't see why not. I guess it's one of those things that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But personally, I'm all for it. But this, I've said many times, this website is not mine. I'm just a custodian, the host of it. Things that are controversial, I put into the MitsuTimes Facebook group, and I put it out as a vote. Usually has like a week, 2 weeks time frame for people to vote, and whatever the community decides, that's what we go with. So as long as something like that gets approved, then yeah, I don't see why not. All right, next question. Someone asked, what car on the list do you think that people will still be talking about 15 years from now? I mean, I think that's an easy one. Red Demon. I mean, I think that car has already surpassed 15 years in the making between version 1 and 2. There's no doubt in my mind people will be talking about it 15 years from now. I mean, so many people know that car outside of the Mitsubishi world, outside of drag racing. They just know it's a cool car. So I've had people before, once they find out that I like Mitsubishi's, like, oh, do you know about this? I got to show you this red car I've seen on YouTube. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I think even if Boost and Performance decides to close its doors and, Devin, Kristen, all and the family all move to wherever and never race again, people will still talk about that car. All right, next question. Someone asks, what's one car or person I would desperately want to feature on the podcast? I mean, I kind of talked about it already, but Dave Wolin is definitely top of the list. Uh, I love his story. I'm gonna reread his book 2 or 3 more times before we get a chance to do our podcast episode, so that we can get the most out of him. It might have to be a 2 or even 3-parter. Tommy Mackinnon, obviously, that would be the holy grail for podcast episodes. I've also tried that many, many times. Some of the Dakar winners, I've reached out to them, try to probe out how good their English is and to see if they want to be part of it. I haven't really had much luck there, but yeah, those are the people that I would definitely love to have some more. And then obviously some of the OGs from the drag racing world. Love to have those guys on. And let's see, someone asked, why doesn't MitsuTimes hold its own event? it's tougher than you think. I've tried many times to put something together, and it's just the insurance is so expensive. Finding the venues crazy. People don't want to email you back. Um, but I mean, I would love to. Um, I would have to have the rules make sense. I think that I would copy a lot from the Wild in the Valley event. Hopefully, that event is on everybody's radar because the rules for that event definitely make a lot of sense to me. I would, copy that, except make it Mitsubishi only. And I would love to have that same kind of relaxed atmosphere that event has, not all the tension and drama and all that stuff. Um, I would have to add in autocross because I love to see the Mitsubishis out there doing autocross. Maybe even something like one of those drag strips that have a small circle track, oval track next to them, so we could do like some spectator drags. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, one day. All right. Lastly, I wasn't even going to answer this, but people are always asking me. So a few people asked why Evo Dan and myself do not do the community pot for the shootout anymore. Trust me, it's not because we don't want to. Um, the event is obviously very important to Dan and I. Um, Long story short, we're just legally not allowed to like, comment, share, or promote anything that involves the event. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's really all that needs to be said about it. All right, that is all of the questions for me. The next list of questions is for racers. So I reached out to everyone after I pulled the questions off this morning and last night. And let's go down the list. So the first one's actually for me. What are the goals for my build this year? My goal is very simple. Just to get the car back out. Hasn't ran in a while. Hasn't been down the track in a while, I should say. We got it all back together earlier this year, got it started up, and we're working out some kinks with fueling and sensors and stuff. And it's going to be taken uh, hell or high water to the Wild in the Valley event. And if the car survives, then we'll take it to the shootout the following week. But that's the plan right now. Next question is for the Morrisons. So someone asked, we want to see you guys hitting the quarter mile again. Growing up on DSM tuners and seeing how much you've both evolved your business to Gold Star products, I would love nothing more than see the smiles on your face at the shootout. I'll run the booth for you, from Brandon. So I reached out to the Morrisons and they said that's very nice, and I hope that means that maybe they want to do something like that and get the cars back down the track again. Because, yeah, I definitely think that they would have huge smiles coming back around into the pits. Next question is for Nick Amaral and Ray Fejo. So, which one of you is going to hit the 6-second mark first? So I asked them both this. Nick said probably Rafe. And Rafe said both cars are exactly the same. It's whoever gets a better clean pass first. But I'll tell you, he says, it will definitely be one of us. Next question. Is Harleytown retiring from DSMs? So, we've all seen he's been working with the Mustang guys and doing some Mustang races, and it seems to be working out a lot for him. So I was concerned about this myself, but I reached out to him, and his response was no. Last question is for David Geiger, the owner of Cosmic Motorsports. This person asked, Will Cosmic ever bring back the yellow rally art? So I reached out to David. His response was, it's getting ready to get returned with a fresh motor and new injectors after a bad one took out the last motor a few years back. I purchased a Motec for it, but all the available packages have some working flaws. It hasn't been a high priority to take back out. It's been hanging out under the cover waiting for its day to return. He says that his life dynamic has changed over the last 5 years. Having a daughter and then 2 twin boys, excess time for race car stuff just isn't on the table. However, for the right customer and working partner, he would sell the race car and the race program. He'll work with the new owner as a title sponsor to continue to campaign it. So there you go. Not over till it's over. Somebody out there looking for a turnkey race car, reach out to David. And it really doesn't get any better for that platform, that chassis, than Cosmic Motorsports. All right. Next section of this episode, we will do the give any suggestions to improve the podcast. The first person said, please add more 3G content. As I said earlier, I need the community's help on this one to find these people and get them on the list, get them racing. I've also reached out to Alex Brodsky several times to try to get him on. He either ghosts me or says he's too busy at the moment, so just kind of backed away, but hoping to hear back one day that he's ready to do it. Please, if you're listening and you want to hear that, please keep pestering him. All right. Next, someone said that the sound balancing on some episodes is off. I hear you. I certainly agree with that assessment. I recently, at the beginning of this year, purchased some new podcast equipment and started using a new app to record. It has a lot more editing abilities. And hopefully the quality is heading in the right direction now. I already see a big difference myself, so hopefully you can as well. Next, someone said we should feature more show car builds. Now, whoever wrote this, you're not going to like my answer. My goal is to build up the performance side of the community. In my opinion, everyone should be racing their car. I know that's a tough take. So I don't care if it's a G4 Mirage, a first gen Montero, or anything in between. There is some form of motorsports out there that you can be a part of. Mitsubishi's motto during their golden era was the spirit of competition. I try to live my, car builds towards that. And I truly believe that that's what these cars are meant to do. And the only way to be a driver guest on this podcast will be to be on one of our lists. Drag racing, circuit racing, rally racing, or to be a participant in autocross, rallycross, some form of motorsports. And that's one rule I'll never change. But all right, let me step down off my soapbox on that one. There are also a lot of people in this section that just gave compliments, and I greatly appreciate it. I'd love to hear feedback about the podcast on Spotify. There's the ability to comment on every episode. I read every comment. I try to respond, and I love those things. There's been many times, to be honest, I wanted to give up on this podcast. When I get behind, I get so much anxiety that I'm like, oh my God, I got to do 8 episodes to catch up. And because of stuff like that, you guys keep me going, keep me recording episodes, and keep me scouring the internet looking for people who will come on here and talk about their Mitsubishi. So I asked people to vote for their favorite episode, but that didn't work out like I'd hoped. There was no clear winner. Some listed one episode, some listed a series of episodes, some said all episodes. So there was no definitive answer here, and I do apologize. That didn't work out like I was hoping. All right. The next portion of the show, I want to talk about a new series that'll be starting next week. So, to celebrate the 200th episode, we'll be releasing a new episode every day for the next 10 days, starting on Monday. I don't want to start tomorrow because I don't want to get you in trouble with your mom or any other moms. These episodes will be in partnership with Rick's Racing. It'll be a history, documentary, storytelling series where I will release one or two per our 10 episode seasons. And we'll start all the way back in the beginning of Mitsubishi and the reason, the ways that they entered into motorsports and the adventure from there. I'm going to talk about rally. I'm going to talk about circuit racing, drag racing, big events, Dakar, of course, World Rally Championship, of course, the shootout, of course, Pikes Peak. The series will have everything, I hope, and hopefully everyone will love it. If you have any suggestions for this series or you'd like to be a part of it, please DM me. I'm looking for any and all help I can possibly get. I've been writing, I don't know, probably 9 scripts right now, outlines, and it's been a lot of work, but I hope that's worth it. So one more thing is our trading cards. They've been a hit. I love that people love them, and I hope that we get to partner with a lot more people to keep making them. This year, just last month, we started a new card every month drop where we'll pick a car, and with the approval of the owner, we'll get the card designed and kind of dropped in the middle of the month, sometime around the 15th. These cards for these drops will have a special card of the month edition label on them, so that'll be pretty cool. The card for April was Noel Rivera and his Noel Talon. And we're already working on the owner drivers for the next few months. So I think they'll all be really cool, really special. We're trying to not just do drag racing cars. We're trying to do a little bit of everything. So should be fun. I'll, of course, have them at the shootout, even if I'm not racing. I hope that everyone will stop by and grab a pack. That really helps support the website and helps us make more of these cards. All right. Now, last but certainly not least, here are your MitsuTimes Hall of Fame inductees. This is in no particular order. This is what the committee selected. I just put them in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers this year and 2 companies. All right. First off, Mr. Rafe Fejo from RRT Motorsports, of course. Congratulations. David Wolin. Been talking about him a lot this episode. Congratulations to him. Our one circuit driver that made it through. Mr. Brent Rao. Congratulations to him. Wish that car was still around, certainly. Next, we have Sean Glazer. Congratulations to him. One of the OGs. Super cool cars over the years. And, yeah, very well deserved. Last driver, we have Kevin Kwiatkowski, a.k.a. Kigley, the important Kevin. Congratulations to him. Obviously well deserved. Still the quickest and fastest front-wheel drive Mitsubishi, among many other things. Working out the Taco Bishi still. I think that's going to be super cool once it's all got all the kinks worked out of it. And for our companies that made it, we have none other than Busher Racing / LLC. We had nominations of Busher Racing and Busher's LLC, so we just combined them and made it through the vote. Congratulations to them. Obviously, very well deserved. Creators of the shootout. Many records broken from cars from that shop, many of which driven by Dave himself. So undoubtedly deserved there. And lastly, we have Force Performance, FP. Very, very well deserved. Many of the records that have been broken over the years that still hold now have been broken by a Force Performance Turbo. Well loved throughout our community, so congratulations to them. And that'll do it for this 200th episode celebration. Thank you so much for joining me throughout all this. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to hear some feedback from everyone, what you thought, what we could do better. We want to keep going, get to 300, and I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.